Hello, everybody. So, I have been asked several times what I did that I felt was a helpful strategy to get through AC chemo. And my strategies that I learned near the end of my AC chemo, uh, I felt were very helpful. So, I'm going to share those with you. So the first thing that I tried to do was I aimed for about 100 gallons of water, 100 ounces. Okay, so 100 ounces. I don't want you to try to drink 100 gallons of water. I think that will put you in the hospital. But anyway, so what I did was I aimed for 100 ounces of water and I tried to get about 100 grams of protein a day. Now, I'm not saying that like I got to those levels most days or maybe even ever, but that was the goal. So I would aim for those things. And other than that, I also cut out coffee, and I know that that's very hard, but I did that because I didn't want anything that could potentially give me heartburn. Um, and my set thing was to just make sure that the 2 days before I had my infusion, I like was very strict on trying to eat like all the protein I could, and that also meant drinking protein shakes, like these pre-made ones. I was a big fan of. These are great in the fall if you can find them. Although I kind of hate to share it with you because they are kind of hard to find. So, but I think they're pretty good for protein shakes that are pre-made. And I also really liked the Premier strawberry as well. And I would just have those as snacks if I felt like I hadn't had enough protein in the day. And then on the day of chemo, I generally had mine on Fridays so I could have the weekend to recover. Now that I have gone through it, I would suggest either a Wednesday or a Thursday because typically the second or third days are kind of the worst after AC. And on the day of chemo, I also had like a later afternoon. I want to say it was like at 1 or 2 that I went in every day to do my chemo. So uh, I would go and immediately wake up and take antiacid. I took Pricelec or any form of antiacid that you feel works best for your body. Just make sure to get your doctor's approval. And then after that, I would take my steroid after I had had some food in my stomach. Usually I would eat like egg bites or a protein shake or oatmeal, anything to get some protein in my stomach and to help prevent the heartburn that I knew inevitably I was going to get from the steroids. And then after I had my AC, I would leave infusion and go for a walk. And I am not lying when I say sometimes it was like I was walking through 3 feet of snow. Sometimes it was ridiculously hard to do that, but I made myself do it, and I would try to do at least a mile. If I felt up to it, I would try to do 2 miles. Make sure you have great shoes that do not give you blisters because all of your cells are going to have trouble healing. So that means that you need to take extra good care of all of your body parts. Make sure that you don't eat anything rough like toast, because remember, your mouth cells are not going to be repairing like they normally do, which brings me to my next point. I also would make sure to try to, every time I had anything to eat, I would do a quick gargle with prevention ulcer mouthwash. Any mild mouthwash, any kind of alcohol is probably going to burn. Um, you might have to experiment to find one that you like. Prevention worked well for me. I also tried to stay away from hard candies. I know a lot of people are going to give you those for anti-nausea. Me personally, if I have too much candy, it messes up the pH in my mouth on a normal day and I can get ulcers. So I knew to stay away from that. Um, Once again, that's me. Everyone else is different. If sucking on hard candies is something that helps you with your nausea, then do it. Do whatever you need to do for you. This is just stuff that helped me. Um, so I stayed away from hard candy and I rinsed my mouth out and I tried to gently brush my teeth at least twice a day um, in order to prevent ulcers. And I also, from the beginning, tried to make sure that I stayed away from anything that could burn my mouth, anything that would be harsh on my mouth, because it does get to the point by the end of chemo where anything with vinegar will burn. Anything with a higher pH will irritate your mouth, um, and your cells cannot heal. They're not supposed to, right? That's what we're hoping for, right? But that is one of the things that I tried to keep in mind as I was going through AC. Another tip that I found helpful for keeping my nails was using lots of cuticle oil, and on top of the cuticle oil, I would put a clear coat to try to keep them because they do start to peel and sort of fall apart. Uh, and then I think probably one of my other big things was after your second AC, usually your scalp will start to hurt. I already had opted to get a sort of pixie haircut so that my family and everyone could get used to me having short hair. So it really wasn't a lot of trouble. We basically just started cutting it shorter and shorter until I finally got to the point that I felt like it would help if we just shaved it because my hair follicles hurt so badly. And I got a lint roller, and when it got to the point that even that started aching, I would roll my head, and it was really helpful and it felt relieving to get rid of those hair follicles. It also kept them from getting everywhere, and I used argan oil on my head every night to help keep it from getting like insanely dry and itchy and flaky. And my favorite turbans for this time period, me personally, were the sort of velvet textured ones because I felt like when I wore satin, my little hair follicles would actually get caught in it and it would pull, and it was excruciating. But when I wore the velvet ones, it sort of kept the follicle down and it was just comforting. So I hope that these tips can help you. So AC is a little different than some of the other chemos. I have other tips for how to get through Taxol, or what helped me, I felt, get through Taxol. My last and final, and truthfully my most important tip, I think, was something I learned very late in the stages of getting my AC. So AC slows down your digestive tract. So I found that if I ate heavily in the morning, so I protein loaded in the morning, I had my AC, and then that night I would only have like a protein shake for dinner. And that enabled me to sleep and not sit there with food in my throat all night long, which is the problem that I had aside from the heartburn, sideburns. uh, One of the biggest problems I had was, yeah, indigestion, and it would keep me up all night long, and it was such a nightmare. And I also made sure to stock up on sleeping pills, over the counter, melatonin, whatever you need, because when you get that AC and you get the steroids, it makes it tough to sleep. And of all the times that you need sleep in your life, this is one of the big ones. So, once again, those are my big tips. I will write them down in a list below this video. Hopefully, this helps. And if it does, share it. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like this is something that could help you in any way at all. And as you'll notice, I am not going to edit these. It's just going to be like we're having a conversation because I feel like we live in a world that edits too heavily and is not authentic enough. And this is not about me, it's about the message and whether it can help you or not. So take care, and I hope that you will keep in mind that this is me. I'm a year after chemo, and I feel so much better, and you will be here. You'll be here soon. Until then, take care, and you're not alone.